Hey chickadees. So today we're still going to talk about grief. We've got day 5 of the grief train, and today they've got a really special message for us about how we can ease grief a little bit and how we can move through it and stabilize ourselves as we experience grief. So come on in and join us. All right, chickadees, welcome back. So you can probably tell I'm in a hotel room. And I'm going to tell you my process for when I travel, because I am coming up on a busy travel season. The fall is always a busy travel season. And so just want you to know what happens when I travel with regard to this channel. I always travel with at least one card deck, and usually it's 2 or more. And before I take off on a trip, I ask the council to guide me to the decks that they would like me to pack and bring with me. And so that is the process that I use. It's a process that I used for this trip and that I use for every trip that I take. So if you go back through these videos and you see, the videos where I clearly have a hotel room behind me, you know that those decks were brought because the guides and our council asked me to bring those specific decks. So you can do that and just know that that's the process that I have. And if you have any comments about it, I'm happy to entertain that. So today, as we continue our exploration of grief, they have asked me to use the Oracle of the Seven Energies deck again. This is one they asked me to travel with. They must really enjoy this. So they ask us to pull from this a lot. It's a wonderful deck. I love it. So it doesn't bother me at all. And hopefully it doesn't bother you either. So they're in control of the messages we receive. So just like with the rest of the week, we're going to ask our council and our guides, what their message is for us relative to grief today. So I'm just going to tune in. Ask what is the message for viewers today and viewers in the future that may see this in the future, what message our guides would have for us regarding grief. So let's just see what comes out. So we've already got one. That's interesting. They've been giving us cards quickly this week. So this is an interesting card. So especially with regard to grief, this is the spirit of gratitude. The spirit of gratitude. So this is card number 43. That's a 7. Spirit of gratitude. So this card is really looking at, it has the lotus flower on it, and it also, if you look closely, it has the skull cut and it has the skull open. And you could easily interpret the opening of the skull. In Buddhism, they call it a skull cup, right? So the skull is cut and then it's turned over, and that becomes a cup in which offerings can be made. It's a beautiful practice in Buddhist visualization. And it's really also, just like we've been talking about this week, about dismantling the ego. In this case, on this card, what we have, if you'll look closely, and I'll leave the image up for a little bit here, but you'll see that there is a golden, what looks like a golden flower center in the third eye of the human image on this card. And in addition, the skull is open and I'm going to interpret it as lifted, and what is coming out of it and what the skull cup is transforming into is the open lotus flower. This is so deeply meaningful, because what this is telling us is that with the spirit of gratitude, this is how we move through grief and we transmute it into what is next for us. This is also how you activate the pineal gland, is through one of the fastest ways to activate it is through gratitude. So that lotus image, the golden image that has a little bit of pink around it, if you look at where the pineal gland is, and if you look at where the third eye chakra is, you could imagine a tube that goes through your head front to back. And then if you take another tube on your ears side to side, essentially the pineal gland is at the intersection of those tubes in your head. So just put your finger above your ear and imagine the center of that, and imagine that intersecting with your third, what we call our third eye, which we point to it here. But when you put that tube back and it crosses these, that is where your pineal gland is. And what this card is showing me is that when we are using gratitude, we are activating our pineal gland. And when we activate our pineal gland, we can access all that is. It helps us ascend. So this spirit of gratitude is telling, what this card is telling me is that the spirit of gratitude, this is how we move through grief, right? This can be something small. It may be that you're in a situation where you're under a lot of grief and you're experiencing a lot of grief. And so you're having a hard time finding things to be grateful about, right? You may be under the weight of the grief. Try looking at small things. At your next meal, savor the taste of your food, right? When you drink your water, feel that water giving life to your body, whatever it is, however you can experience gratitude at a small scale. Maybe you can get out in nature and take a little walk, or maybe you can just sit quietly in a garden or in a park somewhere and listen to birds chirp. Whatever it is, where you can start to focus more on gratitude. That is the key, and that's the message that we're being given today, is that we don't stay in grief. Grief will come up. It's going to wash over us from time to time. It's a signal that we are spiritually up leveling. Remember, we've talked about vulnerability and grief this week as well, right? So we are moving through the course of our life. We are moving through these periods of grief where the ego is being dismantled. We are vulnerable, and we can kind of stabilize that and help ease the grief by focusing on gratitude. And when we focus on gratitude, it helps ignite that pineal gland, and the pineal gland is what connects us to all that is. So that's really what they're giving us today to round the week out with, is this beautiful message about how we can help ease the pain of grief in our life. It seems counterintuitive, but it does work. So I would encourage you, if you're feeling grief, to try to the best of your ability to find something small that you can focus on. Maybe it's a pet. Maybe it's a puppy or a kitten or some kind of pet that you love, that you can begin to feel the gratitude about. Whatever it is, see if you can find something. Let me know what it is in the comments. So for me, gratitude, I can actually find gratitude in a lot of places. So like this evening we had, or yesterday evening, we had some storms rolling through the area, and I thought the clouds were just so beautiful, and I thought the way that the wind was dancing through the trees was beautiful, and the way the leaves were turning and the colors would change on the underside of the leaf and the top side of the leaf was just so beautiful to me. And the sound of it all was beautiful. So whatever you can express gratitude about, do it. It's a wonderful, wonderful practice. It's one We definitely will want to engage in more and more, especially as we, develop along our spiritual paths. So, thank you for joining us. Hit subscribe. Sure appreciate you subscribing to this channel, and we will see you next time for more Mojo Mysticism. Mwah.